Dear Virgo, I'm Empress Rose, and this is my fourth attempt in 3 days to do a reading for you. We keep having technological issues, or I'm choking on my tea. So, but this one just comes close on the heels, and I caught it soon enough. So I'm just going to take the cards that I already drew from the Oracle of Mystical Moments deck. These are general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't, check your sun, moon, rising. All these cards have been very thoroughly prepared and shuffled before I even turned on the camera because I'm a little private about it. All right, and then we started with the Oracle of Mystical Moments deck. And we have the observer closely watching something through a camera, very focused on it. It's in the future somewhere. There's a little bit of self-reflection. It's not bright. There's not actually a lot of clarity. In fact, nothing seems clear except for this one thing, these pictures. You're committed to some sort of thing that you're viewing through some sort of media. You might be very just focused on a task, or you might be watching somebody or something through social media or some other media. There's a ring here, so it talks about a little bit of a commitment to this thing. It's a ruby ring, so it's very passionate. I don't know that it's even like a commitment, like you've decided, but it's just like it's there. It's a passion that you have. So you're really focused on something, on your passion, I think, and very committed to it, and observing it and watching it. So this could be, I just automatically got that it's you. I didn't even think that it could be somebody else. It could be, I guess, but somebody watching you, that could happen. Or you would know if you were watching something very intently. And then you have these ideas, you have these seeds of promise. Seeds always, to my mind, represent potential in the real world to bring something into the real world. So you're having some sort of ideas and visions, these seeds coming off of your hair about what you want to, about something in the real world. As you're watching this thing, it's giving you some inspiration and some ideas of what you could do, of how you could move forward. And then I love Tiny Triumphs. This one's a really fun role reversal. We've got sort of some trickster energy here, some harlequin energy. We've got ruby slippers, so I'm seeing some sort of going back home issue. We've got a home back here, so you might be heading back home or thinking someplace back. So what I find interesting is this one's sort of looking towards the past, and this one's sort of looking towards the future. It's reversed because I have my camera on the reverse, but if you're looking at it from my direction, she's definitely looking at the future, and he's definitely looking at the past, or she is, this little harlequin character. And someone who was on top and in charge in the past, there's been a sort of role reversal, a power reversal. This really does talk about power. This might talk about power in relationship dynamics or work dynamics. And this crow, who would normally be devouring this mouse, is now small enough for the mouse to devour the crow. Crow should be a little worried. Crow's got a top hat. He's a refined gentleman with lots of intellectual ideas. And this mouse is sort of holding gently onto him. I see like holding, I mean, she's definitely holding her camera. She doesn't have to be holding her camera. She just is holding the camera. She's touching it. So there's something about touching in this, in these two cards to me that seems to be coming out in a way that feels unusual and different. So this could be a parts of you where this one part of you that's very afraid and hides suddenly comes out in a very bold outfit that I would never wear, although I might wear that cute little shrug. But a very bold, attention-getting outfit. This little mouse has become very bold and very brave. And this intellectual here with all the ideas and knows what's happening, the crow, well, the raven, this could be a raven. I can't tell from the picture, but the raven is the most intelligent bird. It's the apex species of bird. So it's the most intelligent bird that we know of. And so it could be that your intellect is shrinking, and there's a part of you, this normally scared little mouse that hides, that suddenly comes out and is like, ta-da, hey world, here I am. I'm big, I'm bold, I'm beautiful, and your intellect and your planning self is going to have to take a little bit of a back seat. So there's a role reversal, and this is a tiny triumph. The thing that is tiny triumphs. The thing that is normally scared and within you comes out in triumphs. This could also be, you know, friendships where one friend tends to have more say or more power, and they get flipped a little bit. This could be a job position where, you know, your boss is suddenly like not that scary anymore. Oh gosh, parents, you know, as you grow older, your parents just naturally transition from being these big looming figures in your life to being tiny little frail things that you actually need to take care of at some point. So this mouse is looking towards the past, and this observer is looking towards the future. Or perhaps the observer is, perhaps you're observing this change within yourself of this scared little mouse suddenly finding its voice and saying something and becoming more powerful. And this more intellectual part of yourself, you know, becoming smaller and receding to the background. So it could be about intuition coming forward and being big, and you're watching that, and it's fascinating to you. And you're watching your own mind like kind of flip. Who's driving the car of your life might be flipping here for a minute. So let's move to the Santa Muerte deck for the body of the reading. And again, these have been very thoroughly pre-shuffled and prepared. All right, Virgo, what do we have for Virgo? This is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your to-do list, your possible, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Okay, in the recent past, you've just been biding your time a little impatiently. There's some sort of passion here that is just tick-tocking, tick-tocking, tick-tocking. Time is moving. It's moving rather slowly. You're progressing at the rate that you are progressing. Can't move any faster than as fast as we're moving. Can't move any slower. I mean, we can, yeah. But, you know, you learn the things, you can't learn any younger is one of my favorite phrases from Little House on the Prairie. But this is just the passage of time. Some kind of patience, some kind of biding your time. I'm hearing this tick-tock. It does feel like you've had to apply some patience to the situation. There's a lot of patience in this one. There's a lot of patience. She is just sitting there, you know, when you're taking pictures of wildlife, when you're taking pictures of mice and crows out in the fields, little mice dressed up as jokers out in the fields. You got to be patient. You don't want to scare them off. You have to be quiet and observe carefully when you're out taking wildlife pictures. So that's a little bit of what's going on here, is this passage of time. In your present situation, you have 10 of Wands. You have a passionate fulfillment of a cycle. So this is the end of a cycle. This has to do with, I read this very strongly as your base chakra because it's both red and it has the hip bones, the lower parts of the hip bones here. This is definitely about changing your foundation, and it's about a passion. It's about a transformation of the passion. In a normal deck, we would see an armful of a burden, and it talks about how you're putting the burden down. So this is a transformation as well into a fortress. This passion has become an entire castle. You have put down the burdens. You've put down the stones that you have carried. These heavy wheelbarrow load with each tick of this clock that you've worked with, and you've put them all down and you've made them into now a castle. This burden, this heavy load, this heavy work, you were so inspired to start a long time ago. This heavy work is now paid off, and here is your castle. You've transformed these stones into a castle. And the stones also talk to me about your base chakra being very grounded. And stones, yeah, I just feel like the base chakra is so stone-like. It's so like, I'm here. this is me. I exist. I have always existed. It's a lot to me, the base chakra is a lot to me about existence and deserving to exist and allowing yourself to simply be and to survive. It's about survival instincts. So in your present moment, some sort of burden or something has been transformed into this beautiful butterfly, this cradle of life. Is now the cradle of life, is now the pelvis, is now this passionate castle where you're going to be living. The stones have been transformed into a castle. And in your inner landscape, you have this One of Pentacles, this Ace of Pentacles, and you got this last week too. This is inside of you. You have this this I want to say mouth seed, like this wish, this thing on the tip of your tongue. This you have this idea that's really going to come into fruition in real life. It has to do with money or relationships, or it has to do with, like, well, all of this can, but the pentacles really have to do with our physical life, our physical reality. And as far as like the 10 of Wands cards go, this one has that vibe to me too. There's something about just the physicality, and you're at level 0 of some sort of physicality, or level 1 because it's the One of Pentacles, a physicality which in some ways is speaking something into existence. You know, these coins are on his tongue. And this again is this fertile environment. We have this cricket who's going to be leaping forward. We have this incredibly fertile environment where these coins are being planted like seeds, like the seeds I'm seeing here in her hair, also around her head. So this idea for something that you want to bring into reality, this idea, you have it, it's on the tip of your tongue, you are speaking it. This is happening in your inner landscape. You're allowing yourself to dream of something that you want to have in reality. You're allowing yourself to begin formulating that plan, to begin building that situation. Inside of you, you are building something with the purpose of bringing it into reality. So it's on the tip of your tongue. Maybe you're talking to yourself. Maybe that's a little bit of this. These two parts of yourself are in conversation. And this could be, you know, talking to yourself a little bit, talking yourself through something, talking yourself into something. I mean, this is inside of you, so it does sound like there's something you're talking. You have some idea of something you want to bring into life. So it's a seed, and it's like a word seed in your mouth, and then you're going to bloom out of your mouth some beautiful new reality. So at issue is this Nine of Swords. So this is our nightmare card. This is our depression, anxiety card. This is being way too up in our head, having fears up here invade our mind space. You're in a safe space. You're the priest of this safe space. And these fears are invading it, and you've allowed that to happen. In fact, you may have even facilitated it somehow. Rather than like just taking the risks in real life, doing stuff in real life, you're letting these sort of invade your headspace. Instead of talking it out, instead of sharing it with people, with a therapist, or with people that care about you, or your friends or your spouse, instead of sharing it with someone close to you, you've taken it all inside. So the good thing about this card in the reverse is that it's the waking up aspect. And in this thing, issue is I usually take it in the reverse. Well, normally for most of the cards, taking it in the reverse gives us the negative dynamic of that card, and so then we can see what the issue is. So this, though, has the negative dynamic, or a negative connotation in the upright. So in the reversal is a waking up of this. So that's at issue. That's something that, so it's like reversing a typical card that sort of typically reads as a reversal is actually good, which is confusing me because it's at your issue card. So I love it though, because this is a reversal too. So I'm just kind of thinking, you can take this either way. You can take it as like one thing that's holding this whole process back, one thing that's keeping these like word seeds from being planted. is this sort of mental nightmare card, this way too up in your head, this not being able to sort the facts, like what did they say versus what did you interpret them saying, that kind of thing. That's what's going on in this card typically. So that might be going on, but also what could be an issue is waking up, waking up from this nightmare. Maybe you're feeling that like sleep paralysis issue or something like that, or like you're waking up and it could create problems. You could be like, what have I been doing? Wait a minute. How did I get here? And that could actually, that is actually like one reason why we love to stay in denial about our problems and that we might be causing them ourselves, is because waking up can be very difficult and embarrassing and sort of humiliating. So I'd encourage you, if you are waking up from having like gotten yourself into a pickle, or really royally fucked up your life, if you're waking up from that and from the understanding that a lot of what happened was how you were interpreting things and how you were responding to things, just treat yourself very gently. Try to have a sense of humor about it, as far as like, okay, wow, I thought I could run their life and my life's over here and I'm not running it very well, but here I was gonna like be thinking, oh, you should do this and you should do that. Like when you wake up from having done that, just try to have a little sense of humor about it and realize that we're all humans and we're all glorious little fuck ups. So in your environment, you have this Queen of Cups. You have someone in your life, feminine presence possibly, who's here to give you love, is coming in with a big ol' heart. I kind of like to think of this as a perfume bottle of this like glorious fragrance of compassion and peace and love. So you have a female figure. There's a lot of serenity here. She's giving from a well of serenity and a well of well-being, and she's bringing this heart into the world, and she is at peace with herself, and she's grown quite a bit, and she is offering this love to you. It's a very beautiful gift, and I hope you can love yourself enough to accept this, because this is a very beautiful gift. In your to-do list, we have the Knight of Swords. So knights are very good at one or two things. This Knight of Swords has very good ideas and a lot of self-control, a lot of control over their words. So this is telling me that you need to make sure you're controlling your thoughts, make sure you're driving the vehicle of your thoughts. I mean, this was like talking about different people, different parts of yourself driving the car of your life forward. And this is saying pull out the Knight, the one with a lot of experience, and self-control, the one who's controlling his words. So this is Swords, this is Knight of Swords, and this is Nine of Swords. So this Knight is perfectly capable of taking the swords out of this guy's head. Okay, so you got to take the swords out of your own head. Control these swords. If your imagination is running away with you, if your mind tends to jump to conclusions, we like to be fast, we like to be smart, we like to be, quick-witted, but sometimes the opposite of that is harming ourselves by leaping to conclusions or overthinking things. So this guy's not overthinking things. He is in control of his thoughts, in control of his words. Look at that self-control, swallowing that sword. He's holding himself in check. This sword is not, being flung around carelessly. He is very in control of very precise. So this is asking you to do some really good mental hygiene, be very precise with your thoughts, be very precise with your words. This is calling you into that energy of precision, accuracy, honesty, clarity, all of that. Master that. Come to bring that energy in. Have that be your focus. Okay, your possible outcome is the world. The whole world's going to change. This is usually change we're not in charge of. So, but this is just to tell you that the world is going to be changing again, rotating again, in a way that none of us are in control of. The sands of time, this reminds me of a soap opera. So I can't remember the words quite exactly, but as the world turns and the sands of time drip through, you know, this is just, and then there'll be harvest times. Actually, it's reminding me of that Ecclesiastes song or the bird song, you know, there's a season, for everything there's a season, turn, turn, turn. And that is this, for everything there's a season. So a new season is coming. A new season is coming, and this is letting you know to be prepared. And we have this sort of an angel bride who's watching the sands of time tick through and is watching over the whole process, very in grace and joy, watching the world change before our very eyes, watching the seasons change. So a new season of your life will be beginning, and we're getting that too with this 10 of Wands, this major transformation card, is that there's a new season coming in your life. And that's where we're going with these tiny triumphs and our close observations and our biding our time, and getting clear on our thoughts and our words. All right, Virgo, I think we made it through that without any technological issues. Oh, and one of the ones that I got most of the way through before a technological issue happened was really cool. It was about integrating your full self and doing some shadow work, and how things take the time they take. And you can't rip the skin off the snake. You can't rush your own growth. So you got to grow at your own pace. And the world here just hints at that. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you, Virgo. Thank you so much for watching. It is such a joy to do these, and I'm so grateful that I get to do them. I'm so grateful that you get to watch them. And even though I have a love-hate relationship with technology, I am in the end very grateful for YouTube and for this vehicle for us to be able to communicate these important messages. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And you can only subscribe once, so do that if you haven't already. And hopefully my baby channel just keeps growing, and these messages find more people and can help more people. Thank you.